Thank you, gentlemen. Secretary Spencer and Admiral Richardson, I want to return, was touched upon briefly, the collisions of the Fitzgerald and the McCain. In 2017, after those collisions, you both initiated a review of the root causes and arrived at a number of corrective actions. Our National Defense Authorization Act last year also included 11 related provisions related to those reviews to improve the readiness of our naval surface forces. Could you please update the committee on the current state of readiness in light of those corrective actions, and also tell us what corrective actions have not yet been fully implemented?
Senator, I'll start and then be more than happy to turn it over to the CNO. Out of the 111, 91 we discussed and arbitrated, we have underway. Corrective actions, some were immediate, such as turning on AIS, which is the identification system when transiting busy passages, through our longer-term remediations, which is the education process for ships, for watch standing, and also the equipment and systems that we are putting in place to enhance the education process. So, you know.
Senator, I'll just pick up from there. Every one of the measures that we committed to do, both to ourselves and with the Congress, are on track or complete. And we have really moved the discussion from certainly regaining a safe-to-operate perspective to moving through a climate of compliance into a culture of excellence, which is where your Navy should always be operating. This included a number of different measures across a very wide spectrum, including first and probably foremost the return of schedule and training and certification discipline in the 7th Fleet. And so now we are ensuring that we certify all ships to go out and do the missions that they are assigned, and they have the requisite maintenance and training time to do those. We also addressed the Surface Warfare Officer career path. And so as I illuminated in my written statement, the amount of training throughout that career path and the amount of sea time that an officer accrues before he goes to command has almost doubled across the board. And so there's a lot more experience being gained. And finally, in addition to the amount of training, the quality of that training has increased considerably through the use of high-fidelity simulators, which are being installed in our schoolhouses and in our fleet concentration areas. So to put it broadly, we're making progress across this entire broad front to get to that culture of excellence.
Senator, we can send you a little follow-up that I know Senator King had asked for, and being a data-centric person, it's the numbers behind what we just presented you.
Thank you. Just to tie a bow on this line of questioning, how confident are you that we have no more ships in our Navy that have some of the deficiencies that those after-action reviews cited, and that the leaders and sailors on our ships now have been fully trained and have the skills that they need to avoid such a terrible tragedy in the future?
I'm confident we're on the right track, sir.
Ditto.
Okay. Secretary Spencer, let's turn back to the Truman now. There's always been a few lines of questions here. Could you tell us very simply, was the decision about the Truman a decision driven by budget considerations or by strategic considerations?
It was a hybrid, Senator. Then Deputy Secretary Shanahan, when we were planning budget rollout, the thinking amongst the Navy that we worked on was we have three buckets. We have legacy systems, we modernized legacy systems, and the third bucket was what we call Funding Force 2.0, which is what we've referred to as our future warfare systems, whether that be quantum computing, AI, machine learning, et cetera. Couple that with the fact, and I want to make sure everyone understands this, the Ford will work. The Ford is not a Nimitz. The Ford has 30% higher launch capability for sorties than the Nimitz. It takes 25% less people. It is a more efficient machine. So as I look at modernizing a fleet, much like in the commercial world, when organizations modernize aircraft, modernize trucks, modernize cars, modernize ships, they will move for 20% efficiencies and abandon the assets that they have. This is not an easy decision whatsoever, Senator, but in light of the technologies that we have coming forward, and I defer to the chairman that there's still work to be done here, the thought process was we have a much more capable, much more lethal, much more projecting platform. 3 of those in the fleet will make up on a capacity argument. That was the primary decision, so we can take those dollars and then deploy those into Force 2.0 as the competitive field changes.
My time's almost expired, but just one final question here. Surely, though, if this Congress provided you the money necessary for both the Truman refueling and also the rest of your shipbuilding plan, you wouldn't turn that money down and say, no, we don't need the Truman.
I would not turn that money
I
down.
didn't think so.